Cool. All right, can everyone hear me now? All right, great. So today we're going to talk about Nearpod. I'm going to show you the new video feature, which is pretty cool, and just kind of go over some basics of Nearpod. For information on how to embed Nearpod or use the LTI tool, I would really recommend you coming to Biz and I's class on Friday at 12:30, or if you came today, that would really be that piece. But this is kind of just an intro to what Nearpod is, not the how to connect it to Canvas. So hopefully this will be helpful for you, Nearpod users. If you want to just put in the chat, have you used Nearpod before or not? That would be great, and I can just kind of see. Yes, yes. Okay, good. No, got to go no. Good. Nope. All right. Didn't until today. Perfect, perfect. So hopefully maybe some of your schools are getting accounts, or you can just use it with a personal account. That's fine, or a school created account that you make. That's just free. So the great thing about Nearpod is that you can take those, PowerPoints that you've been using for years, and you can make them more engaging for students. So it's pretty easy to take those PowerPoints that you've used. You're just going to click Lesson in Nearpod. If you're a Google school, you can also do this with Google Slides, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm just going to show the Microsoft way that it's kind of more universal for our district. Even though I'm a Google school, I would show my teachers the Google way. But you're just going to, if you have either a PDF or a PowerPoint that you've been using for years, you just have to slide it onto the screen and it will upload. I'm not actually going to do that right now because it does take a minute. It can take a minute to render everything, but you basically just bring all your slides into the screen. After you do that, they'll all be on the screen, just kind of like, what's it called, grid view in PowerPoint. You'll see each slide individually. Looks very similar to that. And I'll bring it up in just a second, an example. All right, so see if one that I'm not doing right now. All right, perfect. All right, so here's a Nearpod lesson that I've used before. See how it goes. Oh, no, I don't want to do it. I should have edited. When you give a Nearpod lesson, you can give it in two ways. You can give it live and you control the student screen, or you can give it student self-paced, and you have to have the paid version. Either you pay, and I think it's about $140 for a teacher. Does that sound about right, Nisha?
Yes, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Close to that.
So if you wanted to pay, you could have the premium features if you pay for that. And the biggest, I think, premium feature that's the most important is that student self-paced, that a student can do a lesson on their own. All right, so you can see that I have my slides and I've already inserted some activities into this. So wherever you see these mostly white slides with an activity, that's an activity. So originally I just uploaded my PowerPoint or my Canva presentation here, and then I can add the activities. Between any two slides, I can click and I can add content, and these are my content options. You get, let's see. You can add a video, you can add a slide, you can add a vocabulary video. And I know like my teachers this year, they can get we don't have a vocabulary account, but they can get 3 free vocabulary videos per year. So I guess if you worked with your CLT well to make presentations, and you had 5 of you in a CLT, you could really use 15 a year if you planned it out strategically of who makes what Nearpods. You can add a 3D experience. You can add a PhET simulation. You can go on a field trip, which is like a VR field trip, works really well on an iPad. Add the Desmos graphing calculator for you math teachers, BBC video, Microsoft Sway, a photo slideshow, audio, a PDF or just a whole website. So if you just want them to go to a website in the middle of the presentation, you can use that. So those are all the contents that you can add to your presentation. The other thing you can add is the more engaging formative part, which is the activities. And these are your activity options. Time to climb is kind of like a competitive Kahoot game. So the students are working against each other. They're climbing a mountain, and whoever gets to the top first is the winner. Open-ended questions, so they can type their answer in. Matching pairs, so they can match a picture to a word or 2 words. They can do a quiz, which is self-graded multiple choice or true, false. You can now do a flip grid in Nearpod. They can draw. This is really good for math because they can write on the screen. Also on the Draw It, you can upload a picture, like for maybe a map of the US, and they can draw on that map. So you could say like, highlight the region where, you know, the prairie region of America, and they could highlight that space in the middle of America where the prairie is. Collaborate board, that's kind of like a Padlet or a parking lot, kind of like where you put Post-its on the wall. Students can add Post-its. A poll, so they can take a survey, fill in the blanks, and a memory test. So a memory test would be like they flip over things and match them, just having to memorize. So it kind of adds a little bit more of an element than just matching pairs, just adds a little more engaging. So those are the different types of activities you can add between slides, and you can add as many of these as you want. You technically don't even have to have slides. You could just start a Nearpod and have it be an activity. So that could be really useful during your Zoom time to just use this as activities. You don't even have to have a real presentation going. So what questions do I have right now? Just feel free to jump on and ask a question.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, I teach chorus. I think the drawing tool was something that was really interesting that I think would work great for music because there's not a keyboard for us to use. So
yeah,
that's something I think
definitely. You
quite
could
a bit.
upload some, like an image of some sheet music, and they could circle things or highlight things. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Can you edit the PowerPoint slides? No. So they would need to be done before you import them, because basically when they import them, it turns it into an image. So that it is, you kind of do have to have your slides how you want them to be. Also, I can make some changes on that note. So if I wanted to change this slide a bit, I can add audio to it. So if I'm giving that student self-paced option, I want to make sure to add my audio for those students who need that accommodation. So you'll see at the bottom, there's an audio button. I can click that. I can record my audio, and I can say, this timeline shows the technology evolution in your lifetime. When were you born? What year were you born? What was the popular app at that time? Anything that I might say in class, that's what I would say here over in the audio. So it gives them experience of being with you. This is going to be really powerful if we are, you know, trying to reach those students who can't make the Zoom meeting. I teach at the secondary level. I have a lot of kids who are going to have a job or watch a sibling, and maybe they can't make the Zoom meeting, but they can still get your content by doing the self-paced Nearpod while they're on their own time at, you know, 3 a.m. like my kids seem to do.
Katie,
And
will
then
the audio,
after you record it, you just say save.
does the audio
go
play
ahead.
by itself when they get to that slide, or do they
It
have
does
to
not. It
push
has a
play?
play button.
Okay.
They press the play button.
Okay.
So it looks just like this on their screen, and they'll press the play button. Yeah. So it's very evident that there's audio at the bottom. Yeah. You can also, go ahead.
Katie, I looked at one yesterday and I thought that they had said you could edit some of the pre-made ones that were on there.
Oh, you
And
totally
so-
can edit the pre-made ones. Yeah, and I can totally edit this too. I could decide I don't want that slide and just click this. And now this is like image is now part of my slide. I can kind of make it smaller. Let's see. There we go. And I could add some other words outside of it, but I can't change what this image looks like. So going back to the person who asked that it could be changed. So
okay, and what if you didn't want to save that change?
You just say cancel right here.
Okay.
So when you save and exit, you could just click cancel instead and it wouldn't save it. Yeah, I don't want them to be lost. I don't care about those edits. You can add, so in those pre-made lessons, and there are a lot of them if you have like that premium Nearpod, you can add, one of those things you can add is a slide. So I can click between two slides, let's see, and add a slide and just add a slide. So if I wanted to add to their presentation, also if I don't like one of their slides, it's super easy to just click it and delete that slide. So if you don't want everything in the pre-made lesson, you can delete parts of it too. Does that help you out, Cheryl?
Yeah, just when I was doing it yesterday, I couldn't find a place that it only gave me the option of saving it, and I couldn't get out of it without saving it. So it was like I messed up the presentation because I moved something around, and then I couldn't not save it. I couldn't undo.
You imported it to your library first, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you should have been able to say cancel. Yeah. And even this is not completely saved. I still have to save and exit to be completely, like, put everything I just did into the saving of it. You can see that I can take this slide and I can convert it to draw. So that's where I was talking about. You can take that, you know, an image and have kids draw over it. So I can convert this slide to draw, and now kids would be able to draw over this image. So like, for instance, this is a graph. I can say, hey guys, highlight the highest, you know, if we're doing some graph analysis, highlight or circle the you know, tool that was used the most. That way I can just get little like engagement of, hey, can you read this graph? Like type of things. Yeah.
So if you wanted to get out of this slide presentation right now without saving and exit, like if you decide I don't want to save what I just did, how would you get out of there?
I would just click Nearpod up at the top corner and leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions about making Nearpod? All right, so like I said, you have two options to give a Nearpod lesson. They are self-paced and, let's see, self-paced and live participation. So live participation is something you would do in Zoom. You have control of the screen. That means the students are looking at the place that you are looking, okay? In the self-paced, they're doing it on their own, not with you. Any questions about that? So if I click live participation, I'm going to get a code. The code is what I'm going to give the kid if you do not have a school Nearpod. So if you don't have a school Nearpod, you're just going to tell your students, go to nearpod.com and enter this code, and you're going to do the live lesson with me. Can you turn live into self-paced? No, you can't like in the middle switch gears. It's just live or self-paced. You could do it both. So you could do a live one and then be like, hey guys, I also put self-paced in the classroom, and you can do that too. But you can't turn like the session into a self-paced session. So it would be two separate actual Nearpod sessions. Self-paced, if you don't have a school account, you would just, again, get this code, let's see, share. And what I'm recommending is to take that embed code and embed that self-paced into Canvas. So I recommend making it large and then embedding it into your Canvas page. So if this is for if your school does not have an account. If your school has an account, you're going to do that LTI integration. So yeah, you could do live during Zoom and then post the self-paced for later. Perfect. Yep, exactly. You'll see for the self-paced, you can set a due date. So you can say, hey, you know, you only have this amount of time, and it will be, that's part of this code down here. It makes that the code, you know, they can't do it after the date. Any questions about assigning a Nearpod? All right. The last thing I want to show you then is the new video feature. So this is a new feature just released like last week. If you click on it, you can import any video from YouTube. So basically it's like Edpuzzle if you're familiar with that tool, and you can add multiple choice or free response questions to your video activity. They also have some pre-made video activities which are pretty cute. So they're called Nearpod Originals. So I'll click on this one. So you can see.
Today we're going to talk about point of view in just a minute.
Just a minute.
So they had a question here.
Just a minute.
Point of view, or POV, is a perspective from which
So
a
anywhere
narrator
there's a
tells
dot,
a
the
story.
students
It's how
would experience a activity, a question. And you can add more activities just by clicking Add Activity. Then you decide, are they doing an open-ended question or a multiple choice question? Then you would enter that question, save it, and it would be added to that video activity. So again, you only have 2 question choices, types, open-ended or multiple choice. The one thing I've not figured out actually yet is can prevent skipping. So the students can't skip from one question to another. I don't think that's a feature here. I think a student could technically skip from one question to another and not watch the whole video. So depending on your aim, you might pick one tool over another. But that's how the video feature would work. Then you would just save it. Does Nearpod save student responses? Yes, it does. I'll show you that in a second. Save and exit. Oh. All right. So here's my video activity. And for the video activities, you have 3 options: live participation, student self-paced, or in front of class. We're probably not going to be using that option as much because we want it to be shown on each student's screen. But if you're back in the classroom, you know, maybe in 5 years, that video could be up on the screen and every student could respond on their device. And the video would just be played for the whole class. So that's the option there. Someone asked about reports. Yes, so you can click the 3 dots in the top corner and you would look for reports, and the reports or the responses from your students would be found there. That's the really, so let's see if I have any reports here. Yeah, so I have had 5 different sessions. I've had a couple students do it in each session. So I can click on this report and this PDF report will open, or this report will open. I can see student responses. It is a whole class report, so it's not student by student. And I can download this as a PDF or a CSV file. So that's how you'll get your responses. If you do have the school LTI, it produces this report per student when you connect it with SpeedGrader. So it's so much nicer. So if you have the school account, you're not going to look for these reports. You'll just see a report in this SpeedGrader. But yeah, so that's where you would find out your grades, etc. Does that help you, Liam? Okay, good. All right.
Sorry, yes, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And my son's name is stuck in my Zoom account. I'm working on it.
Okay.
It's locked in.
Yeah, yeah. So that's basically the basics of Nearpod. What other questions do you guys have? You want to get on the screen and talk? Everyone feels good? Thinks they're going to try it this year? All right. How do you share with your colleagues? That's a great question. So if you make a Nearpod, you can share with your colleagues. Again, you go to those 3 dots and you say share with teachers. And then you'll be given a link. You can share an editable copy by email. There used to be a link. Okay, let's see. Yeah, here we go. A link, I just give them the I give them the preview link. Unless we're collaborating, then I give them the editable link. If you're just giving them a copy, do not give them the editable link because they will mess yours up. So make sure you give them the preview link and then they can make a copy and they can make any edits. Can you share with teachers who aren't part of PwC? Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, you can share it with anyone. If you are in a school account, you will also have a school library. And so that's the really nice thing is you can add your Nearpods to your school library. So, you know, if you're a CLT, you could just after you know, maybe I'm making it for one unit, you're making it for another. We just put it into the library and we all have easy access. We don't have to like do that whole sharing with each other thing. Also, if you have a school account, you'll see that you have access to some special packs that they give. So my school, we subscribe to the digital citizenship, the college and career, and the social emotional learning packs. So those are like pre-made lessons that my counselors use a lot of, and they can easily implement those in class. The Nearpod library, this is all contents, and they have some really great stuff in here. They just released this racial justice pack, and it's in collaboration with, who is it? Someone, Teachers for Liberation or something like that. There's other great partners they have. So Desmos is a partner. Let's see there. There was, anyway, oh, publisher here. I could go by publisher. So you can see some of their partners, CK12, Cricket, Desmos, iCivics. They have some really great content partners that they work with to develop their content. Newzella, PhET simulations. So some really great go-to stuff that, you know, it's the end of Zoom meeting and you have like 10 minutes and you're like, oh, what am I going to do? Let me just pull one of these in that's pre-made. And there's something I can do today. So I don't work for Nearpod, but, but they're great.
I have a question for you about the stuff that's in the content area in that library. So yesterday I was looking at, now I'm using a free account right now. So
yeah, you're going to have limited options.
That's what I went. So I went into the science for Virginia and started looking up the standards for 7th grade. And there's like nothing. It's at like, there's nothing there like under the standards. And I just wondered, is that something that is like if you go to the Virginia, so like if you go down to, there's a place where you can go to the just the Virginia ones. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, so
right here.
Yeah, go there if you go Virginia. And then go 7th grade. And I just wondered maybe if it was because I have a free account, and if you go under the objectives.
Yeah,
like,
is this more than you saw before?
No, yeah, but look under the strands and go under like any of the 7th grade ones, like LS7, any LS7 one.
Oh, this whole thing was 7th grade.
Oh, okay, well, okay, so pick
Yeah,
one of those.
I clicked 7th grade, yeah.
Okay, and pick one of those, like phototropism, and see how, because mine had like nothing.
Yeah, there's stuff.
Is that because I have a free account?
Yeah, there's way more in the paid account library.
Wow, man.
Yeah. So they even have a time to climb game. It's ready to go. Yeah. So $3,500 is how much a school account costs. So definitely something to talk to your ITC about.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you have a free account and your school is buying, do you need to delete your free account from, say, Clever?
Well, Nearpod's not integrated with Clever, so it shouldn't be in Clever.
But it is.
Nisha, have you seen, maybe your ITC added it to Clever?
Right.
That question?
I saw it in Clever too.
Huh.
Yeah. So
You're
do I
saying
delete
Nearpod in
that?
Clever?
Yes.
Let me look.
I've never seen it there. It's not in my schools, but
Yeah.
it may just be a link to get there.
So you can add anything to Clever that's
Right.
that
Right,
they
so
let you.
they may have just created a link there, but it's not truly, does it let you log in from there?
Yeah. I'm actually already logged in when I click on it, and it's my free account.
Yeah, then I think it's just creating a shortcut for you.
Okay. So
Did
do
you
I
create
need to delete that?
No, you shouldn't have to delete that. Your ITC will add your at PWCS to your premium account. They'll load you in. See, like for instance here, if I manage my school, this is where I'll add my teachers in.
Oh,
And I just put their emails in.
And
then
all the stuff that I had already in my library will automatically.
Yep.
It'll stay there.
It will stay there. They just literally upgrade your account. It just goes to the next level. No changes.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions? All right, I'm going to stop